We here now. We were right here. This is a yellow boy, always joined by over here boy, and at Hogs Wars. This is Bros, Brews, and Botches. You're watching the WrestleMania 38
Hmm.
Night One review, guys. What y'all think overall about the show?
Didn't suck.
It did not suck. Did
Man,
not
like
suck.
that's all you had to say about that, dude. Like I literally thought you were gonna go on a tirade about how awesome the show was, man. Oh my god, it's the
Negative.
worst.
At least it
No,
didn't suck.
I mean I'll tell you exactly. There's been a few, and like the last few WWE boys I've been watching have been the worst. And this right here, I was like, I don't know. I didn't have high expectations. I was pleasantly surprised. But anyway, without further ado's, uh,
Yeah, I
let's
mean,
get rolling. Yeah,
we can put that as a tagline.
yeah.
WrestleMania 38 Night One did not suck.
Short and sweet, man. That's like a
Did not suck. All right, guys, we're done. We'll see
we
you later. Thanks.
we're
Make
Was
sure
putting
you
not
putting
subscribe
that
trash
and
at
boy
all.
over right now. Yeah, for
make
sure.
sure you subscribe, like, and subscribe. We're out of here. Did not suck.
Peace. Yeah, figure it out for yourself. There's other dudes that be doing this stuff. Yeah, we got this. We out.
Right? Figure. But
Cheers.
no.
Oh, that's the worst.
But we're going to go through all the matches and such like that. And no, it did not suck, and we'll get into why it did not actually completely suck. It had its moments, but we'll walk through each match. We'll kind of give our own little description of what happened. But I will start out by saying I had the displeasure of watching the 2 hour pre-show because I thought that there was going to be something on that thing, and there was nothing on that boy. The only thing that was on there that was of interest was Jake Paul healing it up on there with the pre-show crew, and he was really healing it up because the crowd was booing behind him, and he was just living it. He said he really enjoyed it, but that was about it. Um, the set, everything looked amazing. If y'all seen some of those, the set design from the other day and the review of it, great set design. I'm not a big fan of the indoor uh, WrestleManias. I like the outdoor WrestleManias for whatever reason, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's get into this review.
I,
Let's start with the opening match, which was the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match with Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Usos. Um, yeah. In my notes, ladies and gentlemen, I just wrote this should have been on SmackDown.
mm,
I don't know. I don't know what over here boy has, but yeah, it was basic your basic SmackDown match, tag team match, and it's nothing against the Usos. It's nothing against Shinsuke. It's nothing against Rick Boogs, but they were kind of going through the numbers with it. You kind of had an idea of who was going to win. I mean, you got the Usos, and then you have Shinsuke Nakamura, Mora, and Rick Boogs. Um, and there's some stuff that went on in that match, which I'll turn it over to over here, boy, and what you had see what you have to say about that match and how it went
oh, you
or
mean
not.
you passed it on to me? No, I'm just
Yeah,
messing with
I'm
you. You know how it is, man. I was just that dramatic pause, baby. Everybody has to know what's going down. But no, seriously, man, that match, like you said, I mean, to be honest, it could have been a pre-show. It could have been a SmackDown match. I think the placement on the card for that match was about as good as you can get. As far as the overall match goes, it's your typical USO match. There's a lot of diversion. They finally ended up winning at the end with the 1D, but it kind of was more of a like it was honestly odd, man. Like Nakamura was in there, but he wasn't like the focal point. It's almost like they're pushing Boogs a lot more because they are really like catering to like the fact that this is a strong dude. He's over there doing all these power moves, and then at one point in time, he tried to do like a double fireman's carry. Like he had one of the Usos on his shoulders, the other jumped up on there, and then his knee buckled out, and then I don't know where they're going with that story, but apparently he's had like a bum knee, and they did talk about that previously with him faking the knee injury, and he took the knee thing off before he ended up beating the Usos on SmackDown. So I mean, to me, I don't really understand where they're going with that, but like I said, man, it should have been a. I mean, thank God it was not one, and not to take anything away from the dudes, I just don't think that it was where it should have been. That's
I
all I'm gonna
mean,
say about that, man. You know,
unless they're looking to split them apart, because I don't think that. I mean, I think the Boogs and Nakamura relationship has run its course, gone as far as it can. Um, Whether or not this is a shoot or whether it's a work, with the knee injury, they played it up. They made the psychology of it. I'm thinking that you had mentioned it over here, boy, on while we were watching, that it was a good way to write off Rick Boogs for a little bit and bring him back possibly as a heel, or whatever the case may be. But it's definitely something to work on.
oh no,
But
they're gonna put Cody with him, and he's gonna be Mike Hagar, and it's gonna be final fight, bro. That's what's gonna happen.
is that what you think is going to happen?
Oh yeah, he's gonna come in with the green suspenders, and he's going. That's gonna be what's up.
Well, only time will tell. But it moves on into the second match, which again, the momentum of this show started off slowly, and I guess as people are moving into their seats and stuff, I think it makes more sense. You had the Rick Boogs and Nakamura versus the Usos start out, and then the second match being Happy Corbin with Madcap Moss and versus Drew McIntyre over the same storyline again with the sword. Who we've done this before. It was about the sword, and apparently you can almost murder someone with a sword on TV, and that's cool in WWE. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know the story was like on Friday, I believe. Uh, Happy Corbin tried to rename the sword from Angela, which was Drew McIntyre's late mother's name, to Euphoria, because buzzwords, and that's something that young people watch, right? Euphoria, they watch that on HBO Max, so let's
Yeah,
name it
yeah.
something that folks can realize. Yeah, whatever. Great writing. But again, Proud not necessarily into this match. Um, I didn't write too many notes on it. I will say that there was a point in the match where um, it kind of turned. It was back and forth throughout the match, but it kind of turned at a spot where Madcap Moss was on the ring apron and he was trying to get the ref's attention and such. And Corbin started yelling at him, kind of showing some dissension there, because it needs to, because this isn't going anywhere either. And I'm hoping that because it's WrestleMania, they're going to hit the reset button tomorrow and reset a lot of stuff as they normally do. But uh, I mean, the big thing of this match is, and I know we had talked about it over here, boy, is that McIntyre kicked out of the End of Days, and no one has kicked out of the End of Days. And and they played it up on commentary a lot that he kicked out of the End of Days, which is an awesome move. Like, Corbin's move set is amazing, but feel like I'm talking a little bit too much. So get you guys' takes on everything. I know that Hogs Wars, you were kind of in and out. You getting some food and such like that while we were watching the show and everything. I don't know how much you got to really take in, but kind of give us, you guys, both of you guys, either one of you guys, what your take was on the
Well, I
match.
know at least of that match. That match was just kind of like you said. It's almost like it would have done better just being another SmackDown main event or something. And then they, even I was kind of surprised when he got out in the days because literally no one has ever kicked out in the days. So I guess if they were gonna do it, yeah, WrestleMania was the place. But it's like outside of that, this kind of looks like him and Madcap Moss look like they gonna finally gonna break up. There really wasn't much else to this match.
No, I know that they who was that, the I was watching it with watching the pre-show, and they were checking uh Madcap Moss outfit from Friday. Said he looked like oh, I think I was watching the Wrestle Talk boys, who said that he was cosplaying as Misty from Pokemon.
Yeah, he did, dude, for sure.
With
Yeah,
that outfit.
that's perfect.
Who had the red suspenders like Misty. So, but yeah, I I think fans are tired of the that kind of that relationship as well, and looking to change up the end of the kicking out of the end of days. Awesome. However, the the conclusion of the match was a Claymore to Corbin. One, two, three. He has a sword. After the match, he was trying to again commit some form of felony by trying to attack. How it wasn't Happy Corbin, it was Madcap Moss with the sword with
Mhm.
Angela. He swung it at him and cut two of the ring ropes, the top two, the first and the middle rope, and cut them apart. So they had to put that back together. But again, so murder is cool on WWE TV with the sword. Murdering your
As long
friends
as it
with the
doesn't
sword.
actually happen.
Oh, okay. Murdering your friends with the sword is
So
cool.
I'm gonna interject here. So the end of days, man. That like to me, like as an old school wrestling fan, it's like when the Ultimate Warrior kicked out of the Perfect Plex that time. They made it a big deal. Like nobody's ever kicked out of the Perfect Plex. He'll be in the showers in 5 minutes. Hits the Perfect Plex. Ultimate Warrior kicks out. Everybody's like, "What just happened?" And then at the end, you had McIntyre doing like John Nord Berserker, huss, 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 cuts him ropes. Yeah, exactly. Where was Mr. Fuji at? That's the only thing this match didn't need. No, I'm serious, man. Like, I don't not to take anything away from Baron Corbin or Madcap Moss, but like, dude, McIntyre needs to be in not this feud, and hopefully, like you said in the previous match, they'll punch that reset button going forward. So that's all I got on that.
But I mean, if what was it, 2 weeks ago, the top star on SmackDown's roster was Drew McIntyre. The number two star on SmackDown's roster is Ricochet. And Ricochet done got pinned 3 times in the last 4 days. So if that's who your top star is, you're not presenting him like a top star. So it's time to hit the reset button and do something different. Um, and I mean, there's an addition to their roster, but we'll get to that later as far as somebody else that could play a role in it. And for those who are smart marks that are out there watching, it should be no surprise to the smart
I
marks.
don't know what a smart mark is, but if y'all are watching right now, and I know y'all are, this dude up yonder, this guy over here is just a mark. This guy up here, he knows what's up.
Not at all. Not at all. Now,
I'm just giving you guff, you know.
I know it, but this next match, okay, this next match got the crowd and us kind of lit because this next match was you know, you always kind of get leery about celebrities being on wrestling shows and such,
Mm-hmm.
but this was the Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios, and holy heckins, I'm gonna let over here boy talk more about it than I am, but I was thoroughly impressed with Logan Paul. Like last year for WrestleMania, it was Bad Bunny that came out and did some things and proved that he was a true wrestling fan and gave a lot of effort. Logan Paul did the same thing, and he played up into that heel persona
Mm-hmm.
since the first time they tried to bring him. Excuse me, the first time they tried to bring him to WWE and present him, he got booed because they were trying to make him a baby face. Like, look at this Logan Paul, and the crowd wasn't with it. He fully embraced this go around, being a heel, understood the role, he understood the assignment.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean. But I'm gonna let over here, boy, because I know you told me that you was gonna do something on this with Logan Paul, so I'll let you do that.
Yeah, so first and foremost, if y'all know me, you know, but if you don't know, which a lot of you don't, like I cannot stand the Paul brothers worth anything. They are the worst, but they do their job good. Here's the thing. So we were watching the match, everything was going good, and first of all, Dominic and Ray came out. Dominic had like the American on, Ray had the Mexico on, and it was very reminiscent to me of like Art Barr and Eddie Guerrero back in the day when they used to come out and they had the tag team like they did. But moving over to Paul, like every time Paul was in the match, um, his offense looked good, and I really do not want to didn't want to say that. And then there was a turning point in the match where he did something so nefarious, irreprehensible, whatever you want to say. But Ray was trying to go for the three amigos suplexes, 1, 2, and then he didn't get the last one. So the Miz put the kibosh on that. Well, here comes Logan Paul. Paul comes in, hits suplex one. Oh, what happened? Suplex two. Oh no, suplex three. Ooh, hit the suplex three, and he just laid there. Then he did the kick up. Oh, Yellow Boy and me was like, what's happening right now? Climbs over to the top rope, stands on the top rope, does the shimmy like Eddie. Oh my God, heat was nuclear in the crowd. He comes off with the almost damn near perfect frog splash I've ever seen anybody that's not a professional wrestler and hit it. And I said, dude, I've got to put him over. Like, whatever I feel about that guy, Sans wearing the $8 trillion Pokemon card around his neck, I'm coming for you too, bro. Telling you right now. I mean, that was amazing. So, I mean, they ended up going over in the match, surprisingly. Like, everybody thought the Mysterios would go over. Miz and Paul went over, and I mean, that was it. Or was it? Yellow Boy might have a little bit more about that. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So that did happen. They went over, and I think it was the right call because I told
Mm-hmm.
over here boy, I'm like, understand that with Logan Paul, it brings a different audience, and you'll see. And I said this before I even checked my phone or anything like that. I said, man, you got all these different outlets that's going to be posting that they, Logan Paul wins at WrestleMania, and that's going to be like the fact. Sure enough, I got notifications on my phone from different sports outlets that said that Logan Paul is a wrestler now, sort of that kind of deal. But when you thought that match was over, you were fooled because after the match, celebration with the heels, ultimate heel move, Miz puts Logan Paul in the skull crushing finale and walks out of the ring and blows him a kiss after he leaves out of the ring, just for added insult, leaving Logan Paul in the ring trying to figure out what's going on. So I don't know if that's going to mean that down the road, Logan Paul versus The Miz, for SummerSlam. I don't know. Or what's the next one? Is it WrestleMania Backlash? Is that the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
pay per
yeah.
view? Throw the word WrestleMania in there. WrestleMania Backlash, WrestleMania SmackDown, WrestleMania Raw,
That's
Raw
the
after
that's the
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania gang sign right there.
The W and the M.
The W and the
So
M. Hold up. You know what it is. I ain't got the show
uh,
notes.
but it was a really good, like over here boy said, that was surprising to see, excuse me, to see Logan Paul, someone who's not a trained wrestler and does these fights and stuff like that, feel how you want to feel about the man, like him, love him, hate him. He seemingly put in the effort and the work to be able to present and perform at WrestleMania and do a
Mhm.
good job about it, even if it was minimal. I mean, obviously he's not a professional wrestler, so it has to be minimal, but he put in the work and it looked really good out there.
Yeah, it really did. I'll give him that. I
So,
mean, I'll put him over on it for sure. But like I said, that mean I gotta like the dude.
right. Yeah, he's pretty much a scumbag from what I hear,
Pretty much.
but the guy is committed to, training for his fights and stuff like that. He's committed to training for wrestling seemingly. So, but that's what I'm gonna say about that. Then after
but
that match, oh,
but
go ahead.
he didn't train to be stretched. Hey, no, but seriously, before we move on, like that face that the Miz made after he hit Paul with that boy is like he was straining on the toilet. I'm just gonna put that little antidote in there for you, Uns. Anyway, let's move on. He did he not? He was like
Then he
he did.
gave him the
He
gave him the
did.
kiss of death.
Like I wasn't expecting that, and I don't know where it's going, but we'll see. That's going to make for
We should
compelling TV.
we shall see. I mean, hopefully it's giving them the ratings that they need and bringing extra eyes on the product. Um, there were some very noteworthy things. This wasn't the only noteworthy, I'd say, event that happened on the show. But we'll get into that later. Then next segment, Stephanie McMahon comes out. She says some stuff, but the important thing was, yeah, I know. She invented women's wrestling.
Wah,
Yep,
wah.
and she said some things, but she was doing it to introduce Gable Steveson. And unfortunately, if you were on Twitter a few weeks ago after he was done in Tokyo and everything, he had haphazardly wrote a tweet saying that he'll see everybody at WrestleMania, and then immediately deleted that tweet. So, yeah, everyone knew he was going to be there, just didn't know what capacity he was going to be there. And I think Corey Graves made a hint that this isn't the last time that we'll see him here at WrestleMania. So I don't know if that means for this WrestleMania or as WrestleMania in general. So,
Mm.
um, you know,
I got something to say about that though.
go for it.
So if they bring him in, like there's gonna be jobs done, no doubt, and he's gonna be involved. But let's hope that it's a job of that shirt my boy was wearing, because that boy was the worst.
You talking about that knitted shirt?
He had that knitted shirt, and then he's holding his hands up, and I was like, "Hey, bro, you look like a sausage casing ripping apart. What's up there?"
Yeah, he did. That wasn't his size. Didn't seem like it. And I'm like, bro, you can see all your it
See that sizzle
full
chest?
right. But
Yeah,
hey, they got high hopes for the man.
I
So
hope so, man. No joke. Like being serious, like I deuced on him in a previous show, but like for sure, man. Like I want to see a lot of these guys come up and who knows, man. Like he might have a Kurt Angle run or a Mark Henry style run if they do
Mhm.
stuff right with him and he stays injury free. So I can be about that, man. I like seeing that kind of stuff, and it's a good transition. Somebody that's an amateur background like that coming over to professional wrestling. So let's see.
and they're seemingly going to strap a rocket to him because he doesn't even have to go into NXT. He's going straight
Rocket
to the
ship
main roster
boys.
because
That's it.
I believe he's already when they did the draft, he was signed to Raw during
Oh
the draft.
no, that's the worst.
So yeah, he was already.
I,
So
I
he's
I'd put him over on SmackDown just because of the technical aspect of it to get his legs, sea legs as they say. But like I don't. Who do I know? I'm sitting here doing a podcast with you guys. I ain't booking wrestling shows. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah, you know what it is. I love y'all to death, but you know how it is. Like I'm
yeah.
not making them money moves like that. I'm just over here drinking cold beers. Cheers.
Go ahead and make the money move.
Oh hell yeah. So the next match. So okay, as some of you may know, we're Tennessee boys.
Oh
So
yeah.
we had a little bit vested into the this next match, which was the Raw Women's Championship, which had the champion Becky Lynch defend against the challenger Bianca Belair. Um, if you watched this during our SummerSlam last year podcast or stream, you know that we weren't happy about that 24-second uh whatever you want to call it from Becky
That
to
trash.
Bianca. Yeah, basically, like, and it's taken this long for Becky, or excuse me, for Bianca to get back to that championship level and be in that spotlight. And the crowd, to me, I don't know about what you guys think, but I think the crowd was totally for the most part, with Bianca. They sounded like
Heck
they were
yeah.
cheering for a lot. But Hogs Wars, what did you think about that match right there with Binky?
First, it was damn good. It really was. Even with a few botches, it was damn good.
Man, you only
And
get
then,
one word, and you said two of them. But go ahead.
well, you're welcome. Good job. Try to cut me off, you buck. But
Oh,
anyway,
and, and it didn't suck.
oh no, it didn't suck at all.
Oh, well, it's
He faded
time.
into the background. You'll come back. Let's go.
Well, it's time.
But no, really liked that match. It was a lot of really good action, and it also showed how athletic uh, Bianca Belair was, man. Because it's just like some of those moves she was doing tonight were just ridiculous. And the strength it took to pull some of them off, insane, insane shape.
There's one particular move over here, boy. I think. it was the botch that Hogs Wars was alluding to. I think it was that stalling. Was it that stalling suplex that she was trying to do that
Hmm.
she ended up botching over here, boy?
Yeah, yeah.
You remember that?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. I don't particularly
I'm
I
sorry.
remember
remember she
that.
started to get right. She had literally picked her up down there dead weight from the
Oh
ground
yeah,
almost.
that's what I was talking about because she
Yeah.
had suplexed her once and then she did it again. Did that roll through, picked her up,
Yes.
and she deadlifted her because like Lynch's feet
Hmm.
never touched the ground off the cuff, and then they finally ended up doing it, and then all that after that it was a wrap. But was it though? Anyway, I'm gonna let you finish
Negative.
Hogs Wars. You continue on, man. I'm listening to you narrate this boy. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it was interesting the way they told the storytelling, how they started off with Becky trying to beat her again in 3 goddamn seconds, and she finally kicked out this time. Like, hey, common sense kicked in, yay! But and then the way it ended was really good too, and it's just because you just kept thinking, man, if she can just get a little over, get that turn, and just make it work for her, and then she finally hit the KOD, and it was just like everybody was like, please don't kick it out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
and their fans were super invested the whole match, the entire match.
Like I let me interject right quick because I'm gonna pass it to you, Yellow Boy, to talk about because you have a more of a vested interest in it, and I'm not gonna say you have more of. We have like an equal vested. Look, you even got the shirt. He got the binky shirt on. I can't even be mad about that.
Right.
But what I'm gonna say is like the way I would have booked it right off the cuff is very similar to how she lost it in the first place. I would let her take that move, Lynch go for the pin, and then 1, 2, and then kick out at that. What Corey Graves like to say, she kicked out at 2.99999. No, bro, she kicked out before 3, but it was close enough. But anyway, man, I mean, I enjoyed the match. I thought it went the way that it should have. But you know what? Let's get the elaboration of Yellow Boy on it and see how he feels about it.
I'm not even going to elaborate too much from what you guys have already said. I just want to point out that in the entrances, one, Becky Lynch got a Marvel style entrance
Heck
before
yeah.
her augmented reality. I hate I cannot stress how much I hate those augmented reality figures. Those it looks like y'all know how the Street Fighter 5 characters look with the banana hair and everything.
Yeah, exactly
That
it.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
They
But
got they got them reboot graphics on there.
that's what
Right.
it is. That reboot.
Do you remember that? Yeah,
Man,
that. Yeah,
yes.
they lame,
The,
bruh. They lame.
them
They lame.
reboot slash Beast Wars graphics. I mean, I love Beast
Yes.
Wars, but those
Yes.
graphics. But
Exactly.
anyway, sorry about that. But went on the tangent.
GTA
But yeah,
San Andreas reboot ass.
but Becky Lynch got the Marvel entrance, and Bianca Belair ended up getting an entrance from a live band. It was a Texas Southern University that came out with their live band, and
The other TSU.
right, the other TSU and came out and was playing her in,
I'm gonna get
which
a
was
check about that watch.
yeah, somebody might hit you up in the comments and be
Right.
like, "What do you mean the other
Like,
TSU?"
whoa, hold on,
What you
bro.
talking
What you
about?
talking
There's only one TSU, sucker.
Speaking of the comments, Todd reviews everything. Says yo, what's up, yo, Todd, to you. And right now you get to talk in our chat for free, but eventually you're gonna be paying for that privilege. Just letting you know right now. Anyway,
Hey, we
about?
appreciate your time, man. Tell your peoples,
Patreon is coming now.
tell your peoples and whatnot. We doing our thing, but yeah, I mean, this match also had a bunch of false finishes, and
Mhm.
it the crowd were really really vested in this match
they
because of
really
the fact
were.
that they kept
Mhm.
standing up, they were sitting down, they couldn't sit down. You could just see the back and forth action of it because they really wanted Bianca to get that win back. They don't want to boo Becky, so to speak, but she keeps playing this swarmy heel character and such like that, and they want her to get her comeuppance. So, they were really vested, and the conclusion came where Becky was going for the manhandle slam, and out of magic, I guess, Bianca
Mhm.
does a backflip from the second rope from that manhandle slam, flips over, gets her in the KOD, and and it was like a huge KOD because like the
Mm-hmm.
whole crowd popped when she hit it, and just kudos, shouts out to Bianca Belair doing it for the culture. Um,
Hey
got
man,
the
And
one, two,
shout out to
three.
Becky looking like
I,
David Bowie off of the what movie was
Hey,
that?
she
I was gonna
did look
say
like Legend. She did look
Yeah.
like the movie Legend.
she had like that Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars type thing. Y'all,
Yes,
if y'all don't know about that, look it up. Like that dude is awesome, man. Rest in peace, David Bowie. Anyway,
yes.
moving on,
Mhm.
moving
But
on.
great match, great
Yeah,
match.
man.
It brought the energy way up in the arena, I think, and brought
Mhm.
the energy up for us.
And
Um,
and
yeah,
it was a lot better of a women's match. And I'm not saying like I know people are gonna look at me and be like,
Right.
man, this dude hates women's wrestling. That's not the case at all. But the Revolution AEW show where it was Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, man, people were sleeping on that boy. And I
Mhm.
really was hoping when I was watching this match that that would not happen, and it did not happen. So kudos to those girls, man. They killed it tonight for sure.
yeah, they did
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
sure. For sure. Then, of course, anticipated match from a lot of folks. The Seth freaking Rollins. Sorry, that's his name. Seth freaking Rollins against his mystery opponent, which he gets out there to the ring, looking like he's carved the skin off a Cookie Monster and put on as a robe, and a kilt. I think that's what
Right.
you
How you
said,
put a robe and
House
a kilt
Wars.
on? I never know.
Come out
yeah.
there as the drip Jesus himself.
Right.
Looking like Paul Burchill Cookie Monster.
Man, because he had them see through pants or
Yeah,
whatnot. This
he had
man,
them,
Yeah.
he
Old
had them
Steve
pirate
Regal,
pants. He had them Jack Sparrows.
drip
Yeah,
like
lord
Prince back in
himself.
the day in that old fur coat.
you know. So he comes out. He's waiting for his opponent. Lights go dim. Firework pyro goes out. Now, if you hadn't been looking at the dirt sheets before, then this would have been a complete and utter surprise to you. But the dirt sheets,
Mhm.
have been speculating for weeks now who the opponent was, and it was none other. You hear the wrestling has only one true family. And the crowd goes nuts. There's videos
Mhm.
right now on Twitter and Instagram of just the entrance and how much the crowd was anticipating this. But Cody Rhodes made his return. Excuse me, the American
Nightmare.
nightmare,
that
Cody Rhodes.
that was Cody Rhodes. I thought it was Homelander from The Boys.
Because he certainly, and what's interesting is he kept the music from the Kingdom. He's kept the entrance look as far as coming up from out of the bottom. His Cody Vader, so his elevator, Cody Vader, and his gear all the same from AEW over there, which is, I mean, that's a good look for WWE because
Yeah,
you have this
Mhm.
guy that came straight directly from the competition who was spearheading the competition, and now you have him on your biggest show of the year, the same presentation that you've had on the other show. Now he's here. That's a good look. Now you may end up taking some of those fans who were, AEW fans, or then again, you have that tribalism with these folks, these kooky folks who are just like, I told
Mhm.
you AEW wasn't anything, and now they've got, that kind of deal. But whatever. I mean, it was a great surprise, a great pop. Cody Rhodes comes out, um, and has a banger of a match with Seth Rollins.
Really
And,
did.
it. I mean, but over here, boy, and then I'll let you elaborate. You said during the match, how can you not have a good match with Seth freaking Rollins?
oh yeah, man.
Mhm.
That dude like literally could carry a sack of like dog crap on his back and make it look good, dude. That guy's the master of taking garbage and turning it into chicken salad, dude. No joke.
Mhm.
But like to kind of go back, what you were saying, Yellow Boy, about them bringing Cody in, and he had the continuity from how he was in AEW, but also people that have been following it from a long time is like Cody Rhodes came up through the indies into the WWE program. They weren't doing nothing with him. They had a couple
Right.
of he came out there, as part of the, what was the group that he was a part of, the
Legacy.
Legacy. he came in as part of the legacy, and he this and that, ended up being Dash and Cody Rhodes, and then he became Stardust. Jobbed him. He's like, you know what? He said,
Right.
he's like, I'm out. Goes to New Japan, gets up with the Bucks and the Bullet Club and all that, creates the character, goes to AEW. I mean, literally, him, the Bucks, and Kenny Omega started with Tony Khan, AEW, the ideas and everything. He's over there doing some stuff, and then all of a sudden, he shows back up, and the fact that they allowed him to do, the Cody Rhodes character, or who he is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but to get back, I don't mean to draw out, but to get back to the Seth Rollins match, dude. There's a few times I'm like, okay, like Cody's not been out that long to where he's rusty, and they had a few kind of, I wouldn't even say a botch, really. It was just like a few things like, oh, but like false finishes, bro. It's just like, man, like
Mm-hmm.
they're like, hey, Japan does false finishes and it hits for everybody if it makes story sense in the storyline.
Right.
That's where that has to happen. Not like, hey, and I even said it during our viewing, is like, hey, you remember in the new generation, like back in the day when people hit a finisher, that mess was over. There was none like, hey, let's kick out 14 times. But man, I mean, it was a good back and forth, equal footing. It wasn't like Seth got squashed. It wasn't like Cody got squashed. I think both of them like got a good offense in. There were a lot of teases of some pedigrees in there, and I know that was kind of nod to trips. So, I mean, that was amazing to me, man. Like, the match was awesome, and, I'm not going to spoil who won the match. I mean, if y'all watched it, and if you hear us talking about it, you probably know, but I'll either let Yellow Boy or Hogs Wars, divulge that information to you. But, man, as far as I go, I mean, I give it a thumbs up, for sure.
I want to see what Hogs Wars. What you think about that match? The
You
whole
see,
Didn't
thing
suck.
didn't suck. There you go. We'll see you later.
No.
T-shirt didn't suck. That's it. That's all you
Hey.
got to do. Just the words "didn't suck" on it.
Didn't
Oh,
suck.
bro, that might be it, boys.
Right. Instead of damn, we'd be like,
I might have to try to. I might have to try to put that in the works.
Didn't suck.
Didn't suck. Perfect. Didn't suck at the
But
bottom.
no,
Bros, brews, and
seriously,
botches.
like,
Didn't
the ending
suck.
was really
The name
good
of my
because of the
college movie.
constant
Oh,
back and
what?
forth.
What's
Yeah,
that?
it's like all that back and forth is like you kept thinking Seth Rollins was going to hit the stomp. Then he went from the stomp to looking like he's going to hit the pedigree. Then went from the pedigree to look like Cody going to hit the crossroads. And it just kept going back and forth till finally Cody finally hit 2 crossroads in a row. And he gets ready to do a third. And it's like he looks out in the crowd like, you know what, this is the perfect time. Turns around and starts doing that old Dusty finish where he's giving them little jabs and then rubbing that dub and then going ahead hitting that elbow before finishing with that last one, crossroads. And it was just like so much nostalgia in that match to end it like that. Made it perfect. Like when he did a little cartwheel to the darn, Stardust thing.
Oh, that was
And
amazing.
everybody marked out because it was
Yeah.
it was so funny. Even Rollins broke character and started laughing even more than
He did. He did. I noticed that too. Yeah.
So, he had a lot of different little nods here and there to different folks. The ending like that really made the match, like, I guess they say, end on a special note. So
Yeah. Before we pass it on to you, my brother, do you remember what I said though? How do they let Seth Rollins keep on using that buckle bomb? He buckle bombed Cody on the security railing, son. Threw him out, and I said, "Dude,
he's trying to kill everybody."
That's the Steve Borden bomb right there. That's what they call that boy. They crippled my man's out in WrestleMania with that, son. Just saying.
Oh, Steve Borden, man.
You talking about the man whose worst job in his life was his hairline, my boy. He had that blowback haircut like that dude on Phantasm with that little ball. Ain't it? Anyway, I'm gonna quit doing it.
But
What's
it,
up, Big Mac in the chat says, "What's up, y'all? What's up, Big Mac?
what's
Thanks
up,
for
What's
Big
up, Big
Mac?
Mac?
yeah,
What's up,
thanks for
homie?
What's going
watching.
on, Big
We
Mac?
we may have
Appreciate
seen you in Twitch before, and I ain't gonna cuss you today. But anyway, what's
it. He
up?
said not today,
Not
but
today. Say,
Not today.
I think again, like I said, it was a brilliant move to have Cody. I mean, everyone knew it was going to be Cody. It was
yeah,
also a brilliant move to have Cody go over, whether that's within his contract or not. Because I'm pretty sure if it was up to Vince McMahon, he probably would have been buried coming from
Right.
AEW and coming over. But Cody's smart. He made just like Over Here Boy was saying. He built himself up.
yeah, he
He
sure
went
did.
once he left WWE. His whole mentality was, "I'm going to make myself a star." Based upon they didn't
Mhm.
see me as a star, I'm about to make myself a star, and he did just that. Just as all the chronological order that Over Here Boys talked about with going to New Japan, excuse me, going to Ring of Honor, taking up on Dave Meltzer's challenge of, oh, you can't put butts in seats at the Sears Center. He said, okay, I'm putting my
Mhm.
money up and I'm about to put butts in seats and I'm gonna do a whole pay-per-view, and built a company from the bottom up, only
Right.
to go back to WWE and say, okay, I am a star. This is who I am, and
Mhm.
you're going to treat me like a star. I also have my own speculation as well. This is nothing that's come out in dirt sheets or anything. This is just my very own, and I've said this before to the bros. I'm thinking it's got a lot to do with the ownership of Dusty's property. Because you know that he couldn't use Bash the Beach, he couldn't use Halloween Havoc, he couldn't use War Games, he couldn't use any of that, because it was all Dusty and WWE. WWE had to
Mhm.
hold up.
I ain't gonna lie, you,
Plus,
you you popped me with that Regal War Games.
War
You know,
Games.
That's perfect.
Arcade 87, stuff
It
like
took
that.
it took a second for that to hit my cognition there, and as soon as it did, I was like, perfect. Anyway,
Tell the man in the mask over there. It just pops me every time.
Let it
Pops
hit
me
it. Let it
every
sink in
time.
deep in them pores,
It pops me
deep in
every
them
time.
ridges and them fishes.
that's
But
great.
yeah, I'm thinking it's got a lot to do with like WWE allowing Cody, whether he stays until he retires or not. I think maybe he'll be able to have ownership of his father's properties now that he's back in WWE. Don't know that for sure, but it could be part of it. Only time will tell. But awesome match. Again, the three uh crossroads, the tribute to his dad and all that. It was just really good and the crowd seemed to really enjoy it. However, we go from that, and I've said this on other shows, this is no discredit to the people involved, but it it was the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. And I said this while we were watching, not on while we weren't on stream. I said, I don't think that the crowd is invested in this. I mean, they haven't followed this, and they could give a toss about what's the outcome of this
Mhm.
just because of the booking. It's
Yeah,
not because of the wrestling or anything like that. One, they give Ronda Rousey a script to read when she's not a professional wrestler. And so her performance in reading those scripts and trying to perform like that isn't the best. It's not going to be as fluid as a Charlotte Flair can cut a promo. But when you put Ronda Rousey in front of Charlotte Flair, by comparison, it's just not going to be the same. That
Mhm.
sounded very familiar to something else, but whatever. But it's not the same. So, and like it comes off very wooden and such when Ronda Rousey does any of those promos. But um, you got Charlotte Flair, the champion, Ronda Rousey. I had predicted something before the end of the match as far as the conclusion and what was going to be the end of the match to the Bros. It kind of happened, but I'm not going to hog any spotlight. So speaking of Hogs Wars, see how I did that segue? I just threw it right on in there. Hogs Wars. What you think about that match?
Well, I'll be damned. No. but but well,
damn.
the the corner phrase It didn't completely suck, but it wasn't anywhere near as good as the rest of this goddamn stuff. But seriously,
Oh, that's great.
it really did feel like the wind was knocked out when they came out. Nobody really, for at least the first 15 minutes of the match, nobody was even kind of standing up and cheering outside of, hey, the entrance was nice. And it really seemed like they were, even in, some, we were talking about in, another match on Ring of Honor with Willow and Mercedes. It just didn't seem like they kind of meshed the whole match. It seemed like it took them a while to kind of, get a kind of flow together where they could kind of get something going where you could get behind it. But otherwise, it wasn't terrible. It just, honestly, that match should have switched with Becky Lynch and them, because the feel for that match was way less than the other one was. They'd already take between them and Seth Rollins, they'd already took all the energy out the crowd. So it's almost like, normally this is the palate cleanser moment. Why would you put that as the palate cleanser? But
Yeah.
And I
I
think
mean,
that's what over here, boy. I'm sorry. I was going to segue to you, but that was kind of what you was pointing out to me while we were watching it over here, boy. You said, well, you just had the Seth freaking Rollins and Cody Rhodes, and before that, you had a good match with Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. So with those two matches, the crowd expended all that energy for that, and so this may be
mm-hmm.
just the fact that they're just coming down off of all that. So I wanted to point that out from what you told us on the while we were watching the stream there. But what'd you have to say for it over here, boy? I'm sorry.
I mean, the match itself was good. There were a lot of like strengths to Ronda Rousey. Like she used a lot of judo throws throughout the
Yes,
thing. Like a lot of like, dude,
beautiful.
who was it? Corey Graves. Corey Graves. Who? Somebody called a move she did off the top rope, an arm drag, and I was like, bro,
Right, and that was Ushima. Yeah,
It was
yeah,
Michael Cole.
okay, of course it was. Anyway,
yeah,
dude,
that's how he know anything anyway.
your soul patch still has heat with me, dude. Just letting you know. But anyway, saying,
That's so random.
hey, ain't it? But no, but like okay, like the placement on the card between like Binky's match and Charlotte and Rousey's match. Not to take anything away from either, but Lynch's and Belair's match was for the fans type, the people that follow and watch wrestling. The placement of Rousey and them on the higher part of the card is because of the star power that Rousey brings to it. People want to know what she's doing. Not to take anything away from their match, but honestly, you could have switched the two and it would have probably been
Mhm.
absolutely fine. But going to that convoluted finish, Yellow Boy kept saying, he said, look, man, the only way this can end is through some sort of a botch or some sort of a something.
Mhm.
And what happened is there was a weird type of a throw Rousey hit. Well, Charlotte Flair rolled out of it, ended up spearing the referee. Rousey goes
Mhm.
to check on the ref, helps him up or whatever. Then all of a sudden catches a face full of some Yakuza Masahiro Chono kick. That's right. I didn't say the brogue because I remember the old school New Japan for life. Anyway, caught that
Yeah,
kick off
man.
caught that kick off the cuff, and that was it. 1, 2, 3. And then Yellow Boy even said, he's like, man, they could have used, what was the maneuver?
The natural selection.
Natural selection. I don't know
Right.
why that eluded me. They could use the natural selection instead of earlier in the match that they used it to end 1, 2, 3. The kick I thought was odd because actually, wait a minute. Is that not how she got eliminated in the Royal Rumble, boys? She tried that kick and got pulled over the top rope.
That is how she got
Right.
eliminated.
So, looking back to continuity purposes, it makes perfect sense. Carry on, my lads.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Cheerio.
that's it. For some reason, that just light bulb went poof. Wait a minute, she tried to kick Ronda Rousey and got pulled off straight over the top rope.
Yeah,
Or
and I
or
mean,
or as my friends in the Pure would say, Charlotte tried a big boot and oh, she missed. Oh, and there she goes over to the top and to the floor. Anyway, continue.
I really appreciate that. To my correspondent, I appreciate the
Yes,
insight that
yes.
he has given during this match and all matches with Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. approaching. I'm sorry. But no, but yeah, bas- basically what both of y'all said. One, it didn't completely suck, and also the fact of the matter is that it the placement was more for those who are not necessarily the hardcore wrestling fans, but those who are they hear the name value. Ronda Rousey, got to know what's going on with that. That's a top level match on the card. Got to see what's going on with that. But I had said from the beginning of the match, I said there's going to be some kind of trickery or some kind of shenanigans that's going to end this match because one, you can't have. I mean, the Charlotte Flair can't just have her out and out lose clean as a sheet, nor can you have Ronda Rousey lose clean as a sheet because it's Ronda Rousey. So you have to have
Mhm.
some kind of uh, buffoonery go on in the match, which, like over here, boy said,
Chicanery.
chicanery. To have that
They
happen where
had chicanery in the
the,
match.
the ref gets, but the match had some chicanery elements into it, to where it led to
Also,
the finish.
also some charcuterie. There were ham and salami in the match.
And cheeses with
Many,
olives.
many cheeses.
Random Ritz crackers.
To the point where Arsenio Hall was at a fine cheese and wine party and upset that no one gave
This is
him an
frying freaking
ID.
cheese right here, mate.
Y'all
Why didn't nobody?
stupid. I love it.
But yeah, it was again. I think to kind of tie it up with a bow to get to the main event, if you will. Mark Henry face should be somewhere around here for the main
Right.
event, but um, I think is as long as Ronda Rousey played to her strengths, which was the judo, because she tried some different moves that she
Hmm.
had been
Hmm.
working on, which didn't look as great. But when she went to what she knew, went back to that well of doing the judo throws and everything like that, and the different holds and rolling through and countering and stuff, that's her wheelhouse.
And she had some beautiful Uranagis and some what I'm not getting technical, but some
Go
beautiful
for it.
throws where especially one where it literally looked like to a normal person like she was trying to like turn sideways and then try to throw. And what really happened was she was getting her under position. That way when she took her over, it came straight down instead of on her darn head.
Yeah,
So
because she the one that she calls Piper's Pit, she did
yeah.
execute, but wasn't it was a false finish for that one. So, but again, the right person won. I mean, it didn't have to have the full shenanigans that it had, but it is what it is. Charlotte Flair, and again, I hope the reset button is hit. Um, because they definitely need some new feuds in the women's division on
Heck
SmackDown.
yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, I agree.
So, so
Yeah.
you only had Ronda Rousey, and Ronda's a mom. She's not going to be there full time anyway. So allow
Hmm.
her to be a mom and enjoy her baby. Um, and heck, I think Over Here Boy made a comment about Shotzi Blackheart because we seen either a clip or something with Shotzi Blackheart. I'm not
Hmm.
sure she's been seen on SmackDown since Tony Storm left. So
You might be right on that actually. I mean, now that you say that, like I think the last time I've seen her was the Royal Rumble, like in any capacity. So
Right.
yeah.
that's pretty brutal. I just hope they don't repackage her
And
like
either she
as
got
a
hurt or they
as a
just effed
tube
up
sock or
again.
something.
Yeah, it could be. I don't recall any of the reports or anything as far as her being injured. She may very well be. I know that she did lose a family member not too long ago, and she was out
Mm.
on bereavement because of that. I think it was her father. So
Oh
she was
no.
grieving that. Yeah, so she was grieving that for a little while, but because it was right around her birthday, I believe it happened.
Ooh, that's the worst.
Wow.
Hearts out to you, man, on that. Like for
You ain't
sure.
lying.
Like I normally cut, heel promos on people, but like you come to family members and your loved ones, man. Like, we're all thinking about you at the Bros, Brews, and Botches podcast. So,
We
Real
pour one
talk.
out, for the family member, but it's still yet and still SmackDown. Fix your women's division, like wrestling in general, or mainstream wrestling in general. Fix your women's divisions. Give them more of a
Man.
chance because they're out there putting their hearts into working and trying to be more than just eye candy. So let them give that opportunity and shot on TV, please, and stop making them do stupid stuff. I said stuff. doing stupid stuff.
You know, and they don't have to
What
always
he
have to bring the
means to
furniture in to
say
get it roused up, making
is
matches
a
and stuff.
word. He meant to say a word that starts with an S and ends with a hits. We're watching y'all, man. Like everybody,
You know that
AEW,
Hitsville, USA. You gotta hit it.
AEW, WWE, Ring of Honor. Y'all need to get on that stardom level with your women, bruh.
Right.
Y'all got the talent.
You
Because
do.
Triple H made a beast out
Y'all
of
got
four of them. Y'all can catch up with now.
you all got the ability. Y'all got the booking prowess. Let's get it done.
Right. And the star power.
Let's make women's wrestling great, man. Let's make it the best.
Yeah.
Mm,
There ain't no more of that mess, man. There's no the divas are gone, bruh. Quit trying to bring it back.
You got
mm.
NXT 2.0 for that apparently.
Yo,
Main event.
giggity.
Main event. So no one knew before the show, and we'll be wrapping it up soon. So if you got comments, throw them in there in the live chat. Make sure you give a like and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying what you're hearing. But no one knew what this match was going to be before it came through. Like the speculation was that Stone Cold wasn't going to be wrestling, or he was going to be wrestling. It was going to be the KO show for the main event, which everyone, shrugged, was like, so the main event is a talk show segment. Like it didn't really,
Right.
it was, so no one really knew what it was. But it turned out, well, Hogs Wars. What did it turn out to be?
To not freaking suck. It was pretty dang good.
Yeah, exactly. My boy he's got his catchphrase right now. Let's see. That's
Hey,
what's up.
I'm gonna milk it right now. Long
Hey,
watch tomorrow. I'm gonna forget all about this.
tomorrow he said I'm gonna forget all about that. He said
You already
he
know what. Check him like, hey, ain't this something you
utter
supposed to say?
chaos. I realize now after doing that that's a bad idea. Anyway, go on, fellas.
But
Carry
no,
on.
it's like it went from traditional KO show to let's have a no holds barred match, and it's like all of a sudden it's like okay, great, wonderful, let's go at it. So loved it,
Fighting
absolutely
through the
loved it.
crowds. Yo, over here, boy. Stone Cold Steve Austin took a suplex in the crowd on
On the
concrete.
concrete,
Outside, it was brutal.
not the concrete, the concrete, not the concrete.
Se-
Good thing
se-
we didn't have JR.
78-year-old man or not be taking suplexes out there like that. My God, they've killed him, that little bastard.
But he took because at first it didn't look like, or we didn't expect for Stone Cold to take any form of bump, not to that degree.
Right.
But then again, when you got Sting jumping off balconies into two sets of tables and such,
Boy.
it's 63 with that
And
forehead,
busting the
that
forehead to
head,
He did.
Stone Cold should be fine.
My boy Benoit on that table.
hell.
I told you there was no weight sets there.
Negative.
Oh.
Savage.
Uh, even
Can we,
now, it feels too
we can
soon.
edit that out, right? We got post editing. And we're gonna cut
Even
that. For
now.
y'all that seen this live, that never happened, bro.
But it turned out to be something that was amazing. Like watching Stone Cold, like granted he wasn't obviously full speed Stone Cold Steve Austin that we've known and loved back in the past, but still you had all of his mannerisms, like y'all were talking about his facial expressions as they were going through the
Mhm.
segment, that he was just, staring in the eyeball. He gave all his catchphrases and such while doing the promo, like you merely mouth and all that stuff, and just inside the ring, outside the ring, he rode him up to the top of the ramp on his four wheeler. Excuse me, excuse me. Rode him up on the top of the ramp with his four wheeler. Got him, gave suplexes up there, but I enjoyed it. It was a good way to close out the show. Over here, boy. While I take me some water because I'm going to cough again. Over here, boy. If you'll take over for me real quick.
I'm gonna take over for you, man. So you know what it is. Oh, y'all gonna get treated to something right now that you never seen on the live cut. We're gonna do a live 60-second reviews of a beer,
Oh,
or as we know, 60-second sips. Today we're gonna be talking about the Steve Austin Broken Skull American Lager. That's by El Segundo out of El Segundo, California. They're a craft beer company. So people want to say, what is an American lager? So a lager beer is a type of a beverage that is fermented from the bottom up. Most beers ferment from the top down, and so the lagering process requires a little bit of a colder environment for that. Beers that may hit for you that are lagers are Budweisers, such as Budweiser, and then you got Miller High Life, you got Coors, things like that. Anyway, we're gonna give this boy a shot. This is typical, coming in at about 5.5% alcohol, so you can drink about 9,000 of these and be fine if you're like me. And if you're lightweight, you can probably drink one, and that's okay because we all grow and we learn as we get older, don't we? Anyway,
We all build our own tendencies
let's
later
give
on
this
in
boy
life.
a shot. Oh yeah. So you see this Stone Cold Steve Austin Broken Skulls 911 lager? That's right. That's not true. It's American lager. This beer is a hitter. If you like Budweiser, you like Coors, you like Miller High Life, this would definitely hit for you, and it's a good craft beer option if you want something a little bit different from the regular domestic boys. Anyway, having said that, this has been your 60-second sips, and we're moving right along.
how
Yeah,
many
that's right.
caps would you give
How
that?
many caps, sir?
How many caps?
Caps, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 caps, and that's the bottom line
Oh,
because over here, boy, said so.
And that was a 60-second sips review of a beer that you might have seen on WrestleMania.
Or maybe you didn't,
nice.
and if you didn't watch it, I feel bad for you. But
Or
the
maybe you was blazed out of your mind and couldn't really remember what it was, but
and now back to your regularly scheduled programming. As far as the match goes, it was a match. It was awesome. At first, I said, "Oh, this is going to be like one of those Bret Hart, um, Vince McMahon boys," because
Mm-hmm.
like it was a brutal. Like if you guys remember that, but like Vince McMahon got blasted with chair shot after chair shot because let's
Mm-hmm.
be honest, Bill Goldberg, and you got heat with me. You know what you did. Had something to do with why Bret Hart wasn't off the cuffs, so to speak. But Steve Austin was out there. He took some bumps that I think he took. Like I was like, man, he might be juiced on one of these. He took like a particularly nasty bump outside. Oh, he hit the ring apron, like
Right.
the ring
ring
post
post.
on the outside. He's black out. He hit that boy straight flush. He even took a stunner and kicked out because
Kicked
his
out.
because KO stunner
Mm-hmm.
wasn't Mac enough, but the Austin 316s was. But something happened to somebody else. He called from ringside. Do you remember who it was, Yellow Boy? I mean, it's somebody. I can't remember. It was Pat McAfee, right?
Unfortunately, it was Mr. Byron Saxton. If you
Yeah.
Oh,
if you remember from back, what was it? It was during the pandemic shows when they had no one there in the beginning. I think it was 316 day, if I'm
it
remembering
was. I
correctly.
think you're right. I think you're right.
316 day, and Austin was on the show, and they closed the show with Austin giving a stunner to good old Byron Saxton. Unfortunately, Byron Saxton got hit in his Saxtons really hard on that day, and he really bent down, and you could see it on his face. And so to recreate that moment, Stone Cold calls Byron up to the ring in his shiny suit, gets up there, gives him a El Segundo, the American lager, which was reviewed as the 60-second sip by yours truly over here, boy, just a few months ago. And they toasted. He got a little sip himself, Byron Saxton, and got a stunner. Don't know if he kicked him in the penis as hard as he did on the show last year, but but it looked like Byron Saxton was trying to protect his balls as much as he
Right. Still get
could.
it done in this time.
Yes.
Yeah, bro. We be long in the tooth. I hope Byron Saxton was long in the pee, or you know what I'm saying?
He might need to be short in the beat to make sure he don't get kicked there.
That boy turtle headed on
Shoot,
that.
right.
It said like this.
Went back inside itself.
Yeah. It looked like the worm
Took
on
that
Trimmers.
Wow.
Yeah, baby.
Wow.
Pop. Pop, pop, pop,
Wow.
pop, 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 pop.
Made me drop my
Holy
light,
freak.
man.
Wow.
We all about
Uh,
popping the bros on this show. If y'all didn't know about that, then you don't know us for sure.
oh my gosh.
That
This
worked.
show, this show has gone off the rails
Nah,
completely.
it could be worse. It could be worse.
This is true.
True.
This is true. Overall, though, if you didn't know, yeah, Stone Cold won that
Senior
match.
facts.
He won that match with Stone Cold Stunner, as Over Here Boy said. But overall, night one I think was pretty successful. It had its lows, but I think they did a good job of trying to even everything out, with the exception of those women's matches, which I think could have flip flopped. Um,
Hmm.
the beginning of the show started slow, but I think that makes most sense because of the fact that people are still they were still piling into the stadium, which I think they said their total count was 77,995. I think that's what it was,
Hmm.
and the capacity of the building is 80,000, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Over
Shit,
here, boy.
more than that, hell,
It,
technically, but
That's what the interwebs said, so I'll go with that. I believe everything I read on the interwebs. Yin should too.
if it's not on the interwebs, then you shouldn't believe it
it doesn't exist at all.
at all.
At
Hey,
all.
we exist on the interwebs right now, so hey,
Yeah, so
Yeah,
if we exist and then information exists, it's true, we're true, so it
we're
must
true.
be true.
We're here. We exist. So
And
there's
that
logic.
wasn't a Budweiser plug. True, true.
True.
Yeah,
But yeah, good show. I'm hoping that tomorrow that it's going to be an even better show. Can y'all think of the matches that are on the card for tomorrow? Aside from, of course, or excuse me, Bork and Roman.
but you talking about Jock Laser,
Bork Laser.
Bork
you talking about
Lassenhorn.
that match that shouldn't be a match with their women's tag team champions again? Except they had to add Sasha Banks to try to make it seem like it was different.
Gotcha.
Ugh,
Um, Also the
trash.
Johnny Knoxville Sami Zayn matches tomorrow.
It should be all right.
Well, we'll see.
Now they got Pat McAfee's going up against Austin Theory too. So,
That's the one I'm looking forward to.
bruh, like now that y'all have talked about this, like I've been paying attention, obviously, because we're talking about it. But I'm like, man, obviously they put all the big guns on today.
They kind of did, with the
Yo,
exception of
Hmm.
the unification match.
yeah. So like, if you had put that match on tonight and took something else and put it over there, people would be like, oh yeah, I got things I got to do tonight. Oh
If
my god.
I was them, I would have double main evented the women's match. I would have put one women's match on tonight with something, and put the other one on and double main evented both championships back to back, so
Yeah.
that you could at least kind of get that, because that you and I, all both of y'all and I know that sitting at a show, your steam kind of runs out toward the end, and you want to be able to pick that
Hmm.
back up, especially whatever your main event match, televised main event match, you want the most energy as possible. So you give a match before. I know you usually give your uh what we call it, your throwaway, not the throwaway match, but
Palate cleanser match.
Wow.
yeah, the palate
Palate
cleanser
cleanser.
match.
That's a better way to say it because you're essentially saying throwaway. But a palate cleanser is to take the energy out of the room and then hopefully reinfuse that energy into your show afterwards
But yeah,
or your match afterwards.
I never really like that. I think that you should just have the energy, just keep going. I don't like comparing anything because I know those traditionalists out there be like, "Oh, you like AEW better than WWE." No, I just like
Right.
wrestling. But the ebb and flow of the AEW pay per views, they usually have like different styles of matches, but they continue the energy throughout the match for the most part.
Hmm.
Like there are some pay per views, like that last one we watched was pretty brutal because it was super long. I think
Right.
that's
Didn't want to
that
freaking end.
right, and I think
That
that's
boy,
what kind of
that boy was this long, bruh. Like
Then
no joke.
they
It was
it's almost like he
horrible.
forgot that everybody don't need to be 20, 30 minutes.
No,
that,
They
no,
don't
that's for
have to
sure.
be.
that thing was Mandango long. You know what I mean?
Hey, before we move on about that, I'm not going to even talk nothing else of what you just said, but I have noticed a problem with previous shows, and this is from the other show, is that
Yeah,
they usually are like, oh my God, we're running too long. It's time to kill this segment. They didn't do that last time, and it also was still
Hmm.
brutal. Anyway,
yeah,
yeah,
it
God.
was.
yeah. Oh, also, Edge and AJ Styles.
Yes,
I'm kind of interested in that
Yeah,
because like
that should be good.
it's a straight 180 face turn for AJ Styles what they're doing right now, and then they're putting
Him
Edge in
and
the
Edge.
heel spot. So I want to see how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently from reports, um, Edge is going to have a heel faction moving after this with Damian Priest is going to be a
What is
member
this? The
of that
Ministry of
faction.
Darkness all of a sudden coming back
I don't
again?
know. I don't know, but they're going to have a heel faction with Edge, the heel Edge, and Damian Priest is going to be one of those members of the faction. So
I guess he'll be demon instead of angel this time, huh?
yeah, he's going to be Damian instead of Priest, which I think is
Yeah.
stupid. Somebody, oh, you could just make him two different personalities because he has two different. Anyway,
Two
don't want
first
to keep.
names.
Yeah, don't want to keep y'all too long. I think the way that we're going to be doing this for those of you who are watching, again, thank you if you are. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following us. Um, but I think the way that we're going to do this, we all have real jobs. So instead of staying up to this point tomorrow night, because it's 1 o'clock on the East Coast, um, instead of staying up this or well 1:30 on the East Coast,
Right.
we're probably going to have a post show on Monday right here, the same back channel, right before the Raw before or the Raw after WrestleMania. That way we can go and do our actual work and still have some kind of energy. Because if it goes this long tomorrow, we're still going to be hitting the old pay late. So, in order
Right.
to make sure that we're still responsible adults and getting up and going and doing our actual jobs, we will more than likely record and stream on Monday. However, notwithstanding, if you are not already, please subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of great stuff that's on this channel already. You can look at some of our previous reviews. There's also now over here, boy is regularly doing his 60-second sips. You can see them here on YouTube. You can also go to our IG page and see those 60-second sips. Our IG page, which is bros underscore brews underscore and underscore botches on IG. And we also have a Twitch page, which typically once a month, maybe we'll get on there and we'll play Jackbox games or whatever else. We're also thinking about doing other games on Twitch, and that's Bros, Brews, the word, and Botches. I think I plugged everything that I think I needed to plug for that. Y'all want to tell anybody where they can find you? I know the
Hmm.
answer to one of them. There it
Hmm.
is.
He said, "No, you're not. I don't
Sorry, I don't
care
like the
that."
people now.
Yeah, that dude's a heel. I mean, he acts like he's not. He's 1,000,000% is. And next time I see him in person, I'm gonna show him what heel life's about.
I'm a Cody Rhodes. I act like a heel, but I really don't want to be.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you stopped racism. That's what I thought you was gonna say. Since you're
Oh
Cody
wow!
Rhodes.
Right.
Dang,
Where I go?
you ended that boy straight up, my dude. Yo,
Just kidding,
Because
man.
after all,
that's the worst.
that might end up being the name of that segment. Watch.
It did not suck.
Right. Did it or did it not suck? Let's
It did
find
not.
out.
It did not completely suck.
Right. We have levels to this.
Gotcha.
All of a
Well,
sudden.
that was a no. Over here, boy. Where can the people find you?
Yeah, so like every pretty much social media platform out there, over here, boy, is my handle, except for Facebook, because I don't be messing with that stuff. Mainly because I messed up my phone load to my new phone, and I jacked that mess all up. So that's on me. But over here, boy, on Twitter, Instagram, you can find me on Twitch at over here, boy, and I play games sometimes, but the games I play are boring as hell. Like Fallout 4, that game came out half a decade ago, but that's okay. And by I mean half a decade, a full decade, but we're not going into that. But
There's a mark.
yeah, anywho, like I play games, we all do. Everything's good. Like you can find me on that social media. I promote a lot of things on there. And I just asked if it's y'all don't cuss me too bad on there, but I got pretty thick skin, so you're not trolling me, I'll troll you. That's how it goes. And that's right. Who trolls the trolls? Canyon. Wait a minute, that's not right. Me, over here, boy.
RVD over there.
O H B.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what's up.
There's a promo right there. So hey,
Hey,
Whatever.
hey,
well,
It wasn't the best idea, but I've done a few in my day.
uh,
like they said, that'll work. That'll work.
Yeah.
I don't have that many social media places where you can find me. Not my work or this the channel stuff. But you can find me on Twitter at Badass Yellow Boy. That's BADAZZ_YELLABOI 1914. That's at Twitter.
Oh, they want some. Yeah.
That
But
that's the year he was born for yuns that don't know.
black don't crack. I'm almost I'm very 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 old, over 100 years.
He's a
You
tad
already know.
pure.
You
And if
got
you
that
believe
saying.
that,
Saying.
My
also
boy's a real life blade.
also if you're watching this again, thank you. Um, we ask that you leave stuff in the comments. If there's a beer, I know Over Here Boy has said it to me before. If there's a beer that you want him to review, leave that in the comments, or go hit
Yeah.
us up, like I said, on IG, and hit us up and say, "Hey, I'd like to see this beer reviewed," and maybe just maybe Over Here Boy will review it, but you never know, because if you play your cards wrong, he'll have to do one thing to you. What would
Stretch.
you don't want to be stretched, so.
I mean, you
Thank
might. Let me tell you, what he was saying is
Ooh.
true. You trying to learn about the beers? I don't care, man. I'll drink an Old English, a Colt 45, whatever you're trying to figure out. If you're like, man, I'll never drink that in my life, but I want to know what's up with it. I'm a scientist, man. I do it for y'all because of the love for you guys, the love for the bros. I'm gonna be that scientist out there and tell everybody till they know, baby. Over here, boy, can't be put down. Unless it's something ridiculous, then I might be in the gutter somewhere. But that's neither here nor there, baby. Yeah, I for sure I will try anything. You want me to try natty ice? Okay, let's do it.
Yuck.
But I'm gonna tell you, if it's garbage,
Trash.
but if you put me on something that you know is garbage, I'm gonna come get you.
Stretch.
That's
stretch.
it. That's all I got, man.
Well, any parting words from you guys before we shut this thing down?
Stretch.
It didn't suck.
It didn't suck.
Yeah, I got to steal that catchphrase right there.
It did not suck. So again, you guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for viewing, getting those numbers up. We're looking to reach 1,000 viewers. I know that's a big ask of you, but if you like what you're seeing and you like what you continue to see, whether it be the 60-second sip, whether it's these reviews, whether it's an upcoming show with foods and such that may come on, or whatever, tell your friends about
Tell
us.
them. Tell them all about
Tell them to come over here and give us a watch, at least a good 5 minutes. That way we can get that good view time. Um, but
Better not bring your kids.
yeah, your
it.
kids aren't allowed. Them
No,
bastards got to
Not to the
stay at home.
Twitch. Oh no. Oh no.
he said
no.
bastards. Oh, that was
Yeah,
my fourth.
they got to stay at home. But otherwise, thank y'all for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until the next time, till Monday, we out this piece.